Okay, everybody, welcome to my very first and eventually last review of a story. I'm doing this because I thought adding these thoughts at the end of the last chapter would be a little too long because, well, I recorded some and they actually were longer than the chapter itself. I will try to keep it down in this one, so please listen, if you're interested, to what I think about my new life in Equestria. Overall, this story is very interesting. The setting is very well made and it has a very interesting main character. The main six, on the other hand, don't stay in character all the time. I mean, not really. Most of the time they act normal, but there are times in which I just thought, oh my god, that character is not really doing that just now. Then Princess Celestia is actually, well, portrayed as Princess Trolestia. At least I think so. Well, with all the things she says, imagine or remember that part when she actually says that road rage is one of the results of her experiments. That was definitely Trolestia. What I didn't like about the whole alicorn thing in this story either is that, well, we all know that alicorns are not omnipotent. We all know that. Those of you who don't know that really should watch A Canterlot Wedding Part 2, where Celestia faces off against Chrysalis and actually gets her flank beaten. Well, and then in chapter 12, I must say, no. Celestia would never agree to delete Twilight's feelings or change them. I don't think so. At least, well, Trolestia, maybe, Celestia, maybe, if it was for the good of all of Equestria. But even then, I don't think that even an alicorn could do that much. I mean, okay, we have Princess Cadence, which is a princess of love, but I don't think that even she could do that. Thing is, I do not agree with having Twilight's feelings changed by magic. That is just plain wrong. The author was just being lazy here. I had at least 4 possible ways how this could have been resolved more interestingly and better. First of all, there could have been a group, like, I don't know, Big Mac, Matt, Twilight and Applejack in a giant love story, which is very difficult to write, I must admit, because, well, but there could have also been the setting with Applejack and Twilight marrying Matt, like a triangle. Then there could have been the thing that Matt might have had second thoughts about Applejack, or Twilight trying to get between Applejack and Matt all the time. But then, when she is the best mare at the wedding, she actually realizes how happy the two are together and then feels genuinely glad that they are together because she just wants her best friend, or one of her best friends, Applejack, and the one she loves, Matt, to be happy. You see what I'm doing here? I'm actually developing a much better plot in, I don't know, I just came up with this 5 minutes ago? So, sorry, but this was just lazy writing. That's what I really disliked. Also that Big Macintosh and Twilight. Okay, it's a fan pairing and I don't have any right to criticize on that, but oh my god. Not really what I had anticipated, not really what I wanted to see, but, well, not my place to say that. Okay, next up was this whole Sombra business. I think this little arc of consisting of, I think, 2 chapters was absolutely useless in this story and absolutely meaningless in the overall story development. They could have gone all out without Sombra appearing. Yeah? Okay, some things might have been different, especially like Celestia never discovering that Chrysalis is in love with her. But that could also have been done differently. This story did not need a supervillain. Okay, what did I have next? Okay, Apparently Matt suddenly turns into a Super Saiyan, beating up the big bad who kinda reminds me of Freezer. Yeah, you know what I'm getting at, Dragon Ball Z. This story has just so many movie references in it, and no, not to my liking. Overall, the story was good, as I said. It was an enjoyable read if you don't try to, actually analyze it, because then you see that there are things, like I said before, that could have been done differently and better. Like the thing with Twilight's love for Matt. That could have been done much more interestingly. Yeah? And then, if it had been done that way, then the whole Sombra business that I'm going on about wouldn't have been needed. You could have resolved everything, just trying to resolve the conflict in Twilight's love for Matt and his love for Applejack. And maybe even, as I said before, throw in Big Macintosh to the mix, who has fallen for Twilight. Even so, I don't understand why, but that's his liking. You see what I mean here. Okay, since yours Visual Pony, overall I give this story a 6.5 out of 10.